One day, Jesus got into a boat with his disciples and said to them, "Let us go across to the other side of the lake." And as they were sailing, he fell asleep.
We're about to die! Waves are swamping us, we'll all drown! Help us, Master!
Where is your faith?
Capernaum, the town of Jesus. Let's read about Capernaum, what it says. Written here, Capernaum is located on the northwest shore of the Sea of Galilee, 16 kilometers northeast of modern Tiberias, 3 kilometers northeast of ancient Heptapagon, modern Tabgha, and 5 kilometers southwest of the upper Jordan River. The original Semitic name, Capernaum, meaning village of Nahum, is known from a Byzantine inscription found in the synagogue of Hamat Gadar in some passages of the Mishnah, Midrash, Korabah 1 verse 8 and 7 verse 26, and as late as the year 1333 when Rabbi Ishak Chelo visited the site. In the year 1668, the traveler Michel now wrote, Capernaum is called at present Talhum. Capernaum, rendered in Greek as Capernaum or Capernaum, is mentioned in 1st century AD sources, namely in Flavius Josephus and particularly in the Gospel. Excavation has, however, pushed back the settlement origin to the 3rd millennium. Some walls, pavement, and a considerable amount of pottery of the 2nd millennium have been recorded, especially in areas N9 to 11 under the monumental synagogue. After a complete break during the Israelite period, 1200 to 587 BC, the site was resettled in the 1st century BC and expanded progressively in the Hellenistic and Roman periods 300 BC to 300 AD, reaching its peak in the Byzantine period 4 to early 7th centuries AD. Strata of the early Roman period 63 BC to 70 AD were reached in the Insula Sacra in the areas in 3, 7, 9, 10, 11 and under the monumental synagogue. Byzantine remains are abundant in all the areas so far excavated. Significant remains of the Arabic period 7 to 12 centuries AD prove that the town was not abandoned after the destruction of the synagogue and of the octagonal church. They were found everywhere, particularly in Area 8. Post-Byzantine remains were also found in a distant part of ancient Capernaum, that is, the Greek Orthodox property. The ruins cover an area of approximately 6 hectares, suggesting a population of about 1,500 during the town's maximum expansion. The settlement center, which reveals town planning during that period of great prosperity, is marked by the monumental synagogue and of the octagonal church. Okay, that was a read about Capernaum. Sea of Galilee. Please be respectful when this is holy place. The Sea of Galilee, a holy place. Okay. No swimming. Do not go down in the water on stable rocks. So we're not supposed to go down these rocks because it is dangerous. But welcome to the Sea of Galilee, the town of Capernaum. Very small town. Other places, fish village. The Sea of Galilee, named after the surrounding area, the Galilees, where several pivotal events in the earthly life of Jesus took place, including fishermen Simon Peter and his brother Andrew were called by Jesus on these shores. They dropped their nets then and there to follow him. Jesus walked on these waters to the storm, took his boat holding Peter and other disciples. Jesus fed thousands of followers with only 5 loaves and a few fishes caught in these waters. One of the world's most historic bodies of water, the Sea of Galilee, is also known as the Kinneret because its shape recalls the ancient Hebrew kinnor or harp, which King David famously played to compose this and sing the psalms. Other names are Sea of Gennesaret, the Greek version of Kinneret, and Lake Tiberias, and the nearby city Herod Antipas built for Roman Emperor Tiberius. Wow, it's so windy here. No wonder there was a storm that Jesus had to calm. So imagine if you're here at night and there is such wind here at the Sea of Galilee. Of course, it will make the water to be troubled, and if you're not Jesus, then you would find yourself in your own cup of tea, because you need Jesus to calm the troubles. This is the statue of Peter. Here it says, "Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." This is the first pope, Saint Peter. That's his name. That is him holding the keys. But just know that this is a statue of Saint Peter. And this place also happens to harbor the house of Saint Peter. He lived somewhere here. In fact, at this site that Jesus Christ had to heal Peter's mother-in-law. Shane has the right hand for Bible. Anyways, this is the statue of Saint Peter. And this is Capernaum. Behind me is the Sea of Galilee. Let's go check out some other places at this very location. Whoa, I'm so hungry. Why am I hungry? At least I ate puff puff. What is this? Pomegranate, symbols of abundance and fertility, ripen around the time of Jewish harvest, festival of Sukkot. Pomegranates, I know that fruit. The 5-pointed Star of Solomon, the seal on the signet ring of King Solomon, was purported to have mystical properties in medieval and Renaissance times. Now, guys, let me tell you about this ring. If you want, you can check and Google for yourself. The ring of King Solomon. It is told that King Solomon had this ring that was able to help him control and use demons to build the temple God asked him to build. That there was this ring King Solomon had, and with that ring he used it to control all the demons. That in fact it was demons that helped or that built Solomon's temple. I mean, the first temple, demons built the temple. Again, I wasn't there. It's what I read.
In an ancient Greek book called The Testament of Solomon, there is a story about how Solomon overcame demons and made them serve him. The story is told from Solomon's perspective. When I was building the temple in Jerusalem, I noticed a young man, the son of the foreman of the builders. He was a very skilled worker, so I increased his wages and his food allowance above the others. However, despite this, I saw him becoming thin, weak, and pale. One day I called him and asked if something was wrong. At first he wouldn't tell me, but when I pressed him, he said, "I don't know if you'll believe me, O king, but something strange has been happening to me. Every night when I go to bed, something comes and sucks my right thumb and steals my food. I feel it is taking away all my strength, and I believe it is an evil spirit." When I heard this, I returned to my palace, thought earnestly, and consulted the writings of the ancients. I prayed for a way to set the young man free from the power of the demon. After some days, an angel came to me, bringing a ring with a stone in it. On the stone was the figure called the pentalpha, and within it was the name that cannot be spoken. The angel told me what to do with the ring. The next morning, I sent for the young man and gave him the ring, saying, "Take this, and tonight, when the creature comes, cast the ring into its bosom and say, 'In the strength of the name, King Solomon calls you.' Then rise and come running to me, and do not be afraid of whatever the demon may say to you." That night, at the usual hour, the wicked demon Orneus came to the young man's chamber, intending to suck his blood and steal his food. But the young man remembered my words, cast the ring upon the demon, and said, "Come, for Solomon calls you," and immediately ran to my palace. The demon shrieked after him, "Boy, what have you done? Take the ring from me, and I will give you the hidden gold of the earth. Take it off, and do not bring me before Solomon." But the young man ignored the demon, ran into the palace, and called to me, "O king, I have brought the spirit as you told me. He is there before the door, screaming and promising me the hidden treasures of the earth if I do not force him to come to you." I rose from my throne, went out into the courtyard, and saw the creature in the form of a flame of fire, quivering and shrinking. I stood over it and said, "What is your name?" It answered, "Orneus." I commanded Orneus, in the strength of the ring, to reveal how I could make him subject to me. He told me where his abode was, how he afflicted men, and all that I asked. Then I sealed him with the ring and appointed him to hew stones for building the temple. After considering what to do next, I called for Orneus and gave him the ring, instructing him to bring Beelzebul, the prince of all demons, before me. Orneus went to Beelzebul, found him on his throne, and said, "Solomon calls for you." Beelzebul scornfully replied, "Who is this Solomon of whom you speak?" Orneus cast the ring into Beelzebul's bosom and said again, Solomon calls for you." Beelzebul roared and cast forth a great flame of fire, but had to rise from his throne and follow Ornias to stand before me. When I saw him, I thanked the Most High for giving me power over the demons. I spoke harshly to Beelzebul, and he promised to bring all the demons before me, making them subject to my commands. I appointed him to saw marble blocks for the temple's construction. When the other demons saw their master laboring like a slave, they were terrified. I then summoned many chief demons one by one and questioned them about their deeds.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I saw that seal there, and read about it, the seal or the ring of King Solomon, and you understand what I'm talking about. That whatever I'm saying, I'm not just saying it because I want to say it or because I'm looking for views or clout, but that's what I read. And when I read that story, or that it was King Solomon, that King Solomon used his ring to control demons to build a temple, I was mesmerized. I was like, what? Really? Seriously? And that made me, go into research. And again, I'm still not gonna say it's true, but my research took me to so many places, and I found materials upon materials that kind of, talked about what I'm telling you guys right now. Why are people praying here? Because this site is supposedly the place where Jesus Christ performed miracles. You guys remember in the Bible, when Jesus was preaching, they brought a sick person through the roof because of the crowd that was present at that time. So they had to bring a sick person. They had to lower a sick person, detach the roof, and lower the person down. So this is that site. That is why when Christians come here, of course, we believe that whatever Jesus touched, wherever he walked on, that there is power. Miracle is bound to happen at that place. So this was a temple that was built above or on top of, that house or that place. These are ruins from the time of Jesus. What you're seeing right here. So understand that these were people's houses. At the rocks they used in building those times. So these were people's homes. We're actually living here. So these stones you're seeing here are from thousands of years ago. Now these stones you're seeing here, this is the foundation of the buildings at the time of Jesus, is older than this very one. Okay, these stones here is older than this one. Alright guys, so I think that's it for the town of Capernaum. We're going to be leaving this location, and the next port of call, from what I understand, is the Sea of Galilee. That's where we're going to chill, eat, because we haven't eaten any food since morning. Usually this is how tour is. Everybody knows how tour works here in Israel. You go to so many places, and at the end of the tour, you find a place, usually where there is a beach. So people who want to swim, people who want to get into the water, because in summer they can do that. So in this case, for today, I understand we'll be going to the Sea of Galilee. That's where we're gonna have our breakfast / lunch / dinner. And these are fellow crackheads.
Dinner when?
This is Crackhead Victor, Crackhead Travel Vlogs, Crackhead Chubi, and this, I suppose, is a new Crackhead. Crackhead, please, what's your name?
My name is Stanley.
Stanley. He really answers him, be Crackhead. All right, guys, it was fun, it was interesting, it was amazing, and right now we're going to be going to a different place. I understand the Sea of Galilee, right?
Yeah, this is Capernaum, Sea of Galilee.
The village of Jesus.